Hey, Doug, how's it going?
What's going on, Doug?
It's going good, going good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. We were just saying, with the technical difficulties that Dave had tonight with the software and stuff, this would be the one time that the phone didn't go through or something crazy like that.
Voicemail.
All right. Well, you got to figure it out. That's good.
We did.
Yes.
Yeah, we got it live. We're good. We're good.
Yes. So we have Doug Henry on the phone, multi-time national champ, New England champ, hero to many, many, many riders, and overall inspiration. If you were at the vet race this weekend, we know you saw him. We were just saying it wasn't really much of a race for you as much it was a race for us trying to catch you.
Well, that's for sure. I mean, the one class, I guess, that I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be in that class because I saw some of the rules about it or whatever, and it was like, oh man, I raced X Games and I did some motocross a motocross race in Memorial Day weekend, but I was kind of looking forward to just banging bars with my buddies, and I figured a lot of the guys were going to be in that class. So I wanted to sign up for that one.
And it's really, that's one of those events that it's not about the results. It's about the people, and it's about the time on the track. I mean,
oh, good.
Gosh, you and I haven't.
That was perfect.
Hey, Vic O'Brien's upset. He says he asked Doug for an autograph on Sunday, and he refused.
Oh, you heard that? Vic O'Brien's commenting.
Vic O'Brien's upset.
He's mad because you didn't give an autograph. Instead, you got into his skid steer and helped him. You autographed the track.
I was just going to say, didn't he actually help out on the track?
He is.
Yeah.
You were there today.
I didn't have a razor. He wanted in the spot where I needed a razor, and I didn't have anything with me, so I have to wait till he takes care of that.
It's not like he's not going to see you this weekend.
True.
Or tomorrow.
But I was up there the last couple days just playing around, trying to help out any way I can.
Yeah, no, hey, absolutely. I mean, you've got a lot of knowledge on how tracks form, especially that track. I mean, between you, John, KJ, I mean, you guys know what needs to happen at Southwick, and I can't even imagine the thousands and thousands and thousands of laps, just the three, and throw Tread in there, for you guys have actually
Pat Barton, all those
Pat
guys.
Barton,
Yeah.
James Drake.
Auto laps.
Yeah, it's amazing. So, what was your take on the vet race? Because I know that was your first time going to it.
I thought it was great. The track was awesome. I think having it the weekend before the National was a great idea, just because they're prepping for the National, so it's getting tuned up.
Right.
And so the track was awesome, and just the crowd. For me, seeing a lot of the guys that I haven't seen in so long, it was just nice to kind of catch up and see kind of where they are, what they're doing, and how they've been. What's kind of going on in life, because it's crazy how you used to see so many people every weekend, you know, and then all of a sudden you don't see it for 10, 20 years.
It's amazing.
It's great. Motocross that kind of brings us back together, the guys that stay in it.
Absolutely. I know Jeannie O'Brien had mentioned to both Maria and myself at one point that it's incredible that race, she says it's one of her favorite, if not her favorite event of the year, because the pits are pretty much empty during the day, other than people just getting their gear, getting their bikes, but it's the stands that are full. Where in opposed to, say, a local race, the stands don't have many people in them, but the pits are full because everybody's prepping, and worried about what their motos are. So saying that, I mean, there was times that I heard people mention to me that, it was amazing to see you and John, Leo Photo, Jim Meenan, Roger Angers Jr., he was in the crowd. Nima Hotshoe, Gary Frink, he was in the crowd.
Wow.
And it was one of those deals with, John Levesque, John Pierre, he was there.
Yeah.
And everybody was kind of hanging at the fence, and people were kind of like, looking and saying, man, this is insane. All these guys with all this talent and all these titles, all this skill over the years are all just, we were all hanging out in that one area with the fences, and it was just amazing listening to the stories, listening to the bench racing, and everybody's just watching motos, It felt kind of like it used to feel when we were kids.
Yeah, like when your buddy goes out to race, it's like, usually you travel in a pack or a group, you know some people or whatever, so you kind of go up and watch their race or help out and do stuff. So
yeah, absolutely,
it was definitely a good time.
That leads me kind of to the next thing that I was going to talk to you about. How about our early amateur days?
Yes.
So for you, let's see. Were you 84 or 85? I know you were in the 125s in 85.
Correct. I raced. I don't know how many. I think I raced 2 races at Southwick in 84 on an 80.
Yep.
And I'm not sure. I'd have to probably go back to the records and look at that. I may have gone to Middleborough on an 80, but I don't remember. I'm not positive. I don't remember racing an 80 there, but
yeah. Well,
yeah.
I remember you. I think it was an 85 on a KX 125.
Yes.
And I remember the announcer saying, "Watch this Doug Henry." And I'm thinking, who is this Doug Henry kid? And he had said something about he had seen you racing before and you were flying. And I just remember turning around and looking, and all of a sudden, that was the season that Brian Leary won, I think, the championship. Or Eddie Morse. Eddie Morse might have won the championship. He and Brian Leary were going after it. And there you were, like, all of a sudden, 369 hanging there. I don't even remember what the bike, I knew it was a KX, but by that time of the year, pretty much all of our bikes were parts were falling off, and we were just holding it pinned, trying to make it through the season,
Yeah, those, I know that on the 85 KX, I always had trouble with the frames breaking.
Yes.
Like we were constantly welding and adding gussets to those things.
We talked about that, like episode 3. We brought that up.
We did, yeah. The old KX is always
yeah.
breaking frames. I was unfortunately on a KTM 125 that season, but
Oh yeah.
But so the following year, you got on those Parkway Hondas, and that was really the year that, like, I met you. We all kind of had like you just said, we all had a group that it didn't matter. We weren't hanging out riding our bicycles in the pits, but we were always talking. We were always goofing around, waiting and staging. Go out there and bang bars and bounce off each other, and then laugh about it at the end of the motos.
Yep.
That was such a blast.
Yeah, for sure.
But I know that I remember those battles. I behind you and Todd a couple of times. I had a front row seat to watch you guys going at it, thinking, "Man, these two guys, maybe they'll crash and I'll get a moto win." Didn't happen.
Yeah. Moto wins like that.
It didn't happen. Not with Doug and Todd.
It was good seeing him. I kind of missed him. I went up to his dad's 80th birthday party, and that was the day that Todd broke his back. So he was like leaving in the ambulance as I was getting there, so I didn't even get to see him, and I hadn't seen him in quite a while. So I may have seen him at Southwick. Just ran into him real quick, but I was looking forward to doing some riding with him. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but he's got quite a track there. But it was really good seeing him. And I guess he's going to Loretta Lynn, so I thought that was pretty good. He's going for the 50-plus class, so that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I think he said.
See how he does.
I think he said he qualified for 45 and for 50, which
really?
is impressive. Yeah, and he said he wasn't really thinking about doing it, but it was something that he and his dad were going to do together, and he wanted to do it for his dad. So I think that's super cool that he's doing that. And the fact that he's got a 125 too. that was fun. Watching those guys. I don't know about you, but watching those guys run those 125s, it kind of blows me away.
Leo Candidas, he was railing his this weekend, right?
Leo Candidas, I don't know. I mean, we've known Leo for 30 plus years, and it's just those guys, those two brothers. His brother rode his bicycle from the Boston area to Southwick on
So it's not my brother.
Sunday.
My brother's like that.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, it was good seeing those two too. Those guys are always so nice, and I kind of missed it. There's a bunch of guys that I missed, but I think the Candidas, they used to hang out with Nico LeBoy.
Yep.
And I was hoping to see him there, but I guess I'm not sure.
Nico
I'm not sure he was, but
Nico messaged me after the fact, and he said he had a couple of graduation parties going on this past weekend.
Yep.
So, but that's okay.
Dave Lampard just posted that Todd's planning on racing the 125 All-Star race this weekend.
Oh, Dave. I did talk to Todd about the 125 All-Star race. He says he was trying to get in. They were just waiting on final word.
Yeah, sounds like he did.
That's awesome. I know the roster isn't out until Thursday.
Yeah.
So, all right. So back to you. You ran. Let's see. In '88, you won the fall series in the 125 class.
Yep.
And you pretty much had a goal in your mind that you knew what you wanted, and you were moving on, and you were doing big things, and you actually left New England. You were one of the guys that got out. There's a whole lot of us that just never did anything but New England, and I mean it was so cool seeing a couple of the interviews you've done and talking to the people and hearing the stuff that you went through. I mean, just on that road to the first national championship, I could remember, hearing that you signed with Team Honda, and I'm like, man, that is so cool. Doug Henry, one of our friends, one of the group that
I can remember
we
as a
came
kid,
with.
just the first moto win in the mud. That race is on YouTube, and it's still incredible to this day to watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you know that that this is what I want to do? I don't want to be, as my mom used to call me and everybody else, I don't want to be a big fish in a little pond. I want to go out there and I want to go after the ocean, that type of thing.
I don't know when I knew that. I think that when in racing in New England and racing the 20+2 motos were awesome. When we used to do the 20+2, 4 motos a day were awesome training for nationals and stuff. So I think I just, when Southwood came around and the locals were able to race the national,
yep,
that sort of got me started. I think that's what really got me started. You race the nationals, like, wow, that was awesome. I did pretty good or whatever. I don't remember my results at the beginning, but at Southwick, I think they were always pretty good. And
yes,
and I guess I just always wanted to get better. It was like you start out as a novice and you're in the 15th, whatever,
yep,
10th, whatever, and then you work your way up. Now you're winning, and then you go to the amateur class, and it's eye-opening again. Now you're starting way back in the back again. 15, 14, 10. Then you win or second. I got second to Todd in the amateur championship.
Yep.
So we moved to expert and raced the spring series, and I think I might have finished. I don't even remember, 9th, 4th or something. But I think I was doing like some supercrosses.
Yes.
So I think I had missed some races. Well, not at that point. I think that was after the fact. But I won the 88 championship, and I think in 89, I spoke with Yamaha. They gave me a support ride.
Yep.
And that's when I had to race. Well, the deal was to race New England races, and then Loretta Lynn's. They wanted me to do Loretta Lynn's. So I did that, and I think I did some nationals and stuff, and for me it was just the next step after winning the expert class in New England. The next step was to go race the nationals.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's I think it's one of those deals too where we all wanted those white plates when we were coming up.
Yeah.
And once you got them, that was kind of the deciding factor of where you wanted to go after. What do you want to do now that you got them? And so many people that we grew up with just quit riding. And it was super cool to see you especially go on and go further and have the levels of success that you did. I mean, that was incredible.
Yeah, it was a good ride.
It
was fun.
Oh yeah.
So here's a good question. Mike Tansanilli online wants to know, what do you like better, Doug, MX or Supercross?
I honestly, I really do like them both, but I think motocross I like motocross. That's kind of where my roots are, pretty much. I started there. I love, moto, and that's always there. But I liked the break. I liked going from motocross and then having a Supercross season, and then getting outdoors and kind of just going wide open, So I liked them both for that fact.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, back when you were doing it at the beginning, they had it mixed up too. So you go to Bike Week in Florida and you'd race the Gainesville National,
right?
And then the Daytona Supercross. So I could have that backwards. It could have been Daytona first and then Gainesville, but you were right in the middle. Because I mean, Foxborough Supercross in '90. That was almost in the summer, I think.
Yeah, it was close. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And it was just a mix, and I can't even imagine how hard, just knowing how the suspensions and stuff have to be set up differently. You have to have two different bikes.
I don't know. I'm trying to think if I think we would just mess around with the suspension.
I was going to say either that.
I think the motor too a little bit. I think we would mellow it out a little bit for outdoors.
Yeah.
And have a harder hit for Supercross. And the suspension wasn't a whole lot different you ran it pretty stiff in both, you know.
Right. The tracks were different too back then. It wasn't the gigantic 4-story leaps that these guys are doing now.
TV right now.
Yeah, the TV in the TV in the background that we have has the looping. Is that Vegas?
It's Vegas. Yeah, Sam Boyd Stadium in
Vegas when you won on the 4-stroke.
Yes.
The first 4-stroke to win a main event.
Yes, indeed. Yep.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah, we just barely got the thing figured out, right before the race, and that's, I think, if we didn't have it figured out, we wouldn't have won. That's, we had a little accelerator pump issue, and between the team, they figured out how to resolve it.
Yep.
And because I knew that if we could just fix this one issue, this bike will work so good in Vegas because it's such a hard, slippery track.
Right.
It'll be perfect. So, once we had that fixed, I kind of knew that we had such a really good shot at winning.
That's cool. That is so cool.
So cool. And Doug, that bike was what? Was that a 4-speed or a 5-speed?
That was a 4.
It was a 4-speed. Yeah, I remember the rumors flying around and that it was a 3-speed, 2-speed. It's like, what the hell was that damn thing?
Yeah, we did try a 2-speed. I don't think I ever raced it, but we just tested it. Which I don't know. I mean, I honestly think that's, to me, I don't know if we need any more gears than that. But I tell you, I only use 2 gears on my bike. A lot of times I just use 1.
Yeah.
I can see that.
The new bike, the 450s are so fast and they're so smooth. It's just like they're almost like the electric bike.
I was just going to go there. I was just going to say, since you revolutionized the game changer here, Doug. What's your opinion on the electric bike, Doug? Because I mean, that's coming.
I would love it. I mean, I'm all for it. It'll allow so many more places to ride. I think so many more people will get involved. So I think that it'll just open up a lot of opportunity for people who ride, and then I think for people who haven't ridden, I think it'll open up opportunities for them.
Doug, Vic O'Brien's posting online right now. He's saying that you single-handedly ruined 2-stroke motocross by winning on that 4-stroke.
Oh, my. I have to agree with you though on the electric bike. I think it's going to be great. It's going to bring a different crowd of people already into motocross and introduce them to a sport. I know that there's the big argument with noise and all this other stuff, but the
noise is number one.
Yeah,
it's the number one issue.
But I think too that no matter what comes in, you're still going to have diehard guys that ride 2-strokes. They're going to want 2-strokes. You're going to have diehard 4-strokes.
They make it a comeback. I mean, it's crazy.
And you're going to have people who only want electric. It doesn't matter as long as you ride. That's really all that matters, and you enjoy if you like what you're riding. Who cares?
Yeah, but
you're
right.
Exactly. The vintage stuff is awesome. To see the vintage bikes, still out there, still around, and people still ride them. I think dirt bikes are, I think all kinds, they're always going to be around.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this weekend alone, we got to see Kevin Galvin on his 73 Mako on the track. That was pretty. Awesome. It's pretty amazing when you see that and you see the history of what the guys used to ride long before us.
Yep, the old dual shock.
I think they got to run that moto first.
Yeah,
just the thought.
Well, initially I said maybe he should have put the vintage bikes in with the old men class, but. I don't know, the speed, when I actually got to go and do a couple laps with you, which was impressive to say the least, I think we would have come up on those guys pretty quick. Yeah. Those things have got to be tough to ride.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, and it was so cool to be, going down the straightaway side by side and kind of glancing over and you're pinned, your bike's kind of skipping around a little bit, and I'm trying to hold my line, and we're just both going off the drop, heading to the uphill.
That picture on the first turn with you guys just laying it sideways is a great photo.
All right, so with the Nationals and stuff like that, I was going to ask you, what's one of your favorite memories from a race? Any of the races. I know that, the titles and stuff probably are really cool, but they might not be something that might be the favorite from an actual race.
I would say I pretty much, this is my go-to because it really was one of the most awesome things. I'm not sure the year, but it was one of the years at Unadilla. It was a GP race, and I was racing the support class, and some of the GP bikes got caught and hung up in customs, so they couldn't allow some guys to go in time practice, and not the other guys. So they said, so I guess they had all these fans that were here to come and watch time practice.
Sure. So
they let the 125 support guys go out there, and so I was one of the first guys, ready to go. So I went out on the track, and it was just the grass was. There were spots where it was up to my handlebars. My gloves were soaking wet when I came off because of the dew. But
that's awesome.
It was just really cool being one of the first guys out on that track and just riding through the grass, and it was a little sketchy. There'd be like rabbit or some kind of holes in the ground like here and there, and they would leave a lot of the bumps. I think maybe they would groom it a little bit after the race. I'm not even sure, but it would still have like some of the rollers like up that back hill and stuff. But that was definitely one of the coolest rides that I've ever had.
That's awesome. I remember listening to an interview where they said they took some of the real bad sections and they smoothed it out, but then they threw grass seed down and they didn't touch it again until the race the next year.
That's awesome.
All right, so switching gears a little bit, you are the Kenda brand ambassador.
Yes.
Now, what is your role with that, and how do you like it? I mean, I see the Kenda tires on everything you have. And it's fantastic. And I just recently, because of that, I decided I've never tried one. I picked up a couple Kendas and tried them, and I love them.
Nice. Yeah, I love them too. I haven't tried them all just yet, but I from what I've tried, I've had the Southwick 2 on there, and I've tried both sizes because I wanted to just try the 250 tire on my 450 and the 4. I kind of wanted to go back to back with that. And just kind of see the difference. And I mean, the wear on those things, they last pretty long. So I've only gone through 2 rear tires.
Oh, but, that's cool.
I haven't ridden a whole lot, but South Dakota was like a really fast, abrasive track. Hard packed in some spots and loose in others. But it got down to some good hard stuff that would usually wear a tire out.
Right.
I rode there a bunch. Rode to Central Village, Southwick. But yeah, it was. I'm surprised at how long the wear is, and so far everything's been really, really good with them. But they asked me if I'd like to try their tires, and if things went well, if I'd like to be their brand ambassador, and I was like, sure, that sounds like a good idea to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got together and everything was worked out really well.
With your ventures into mountain biking too, that's definitely a good fit. All around.
Yeah, I mean they even make the wheelchair tires too. So and my hand cycle, my road bike. I have a hand cycle mountain bike, and they make tires for just about everything I have. Lawnmower tires. I got lawnmower tires, trailer tires.
That's funny.
You guys road biking, awesome. Doug. Let's touch on the Ram race that you guys did across the country, because I followed that off and on, and I mean that was just amazing. I mean, give us some of the highs and lows of that trip.
Boy, the highs were when I was kind of going to sign up, and I was in my wheelchair, and in front of me was David Bailey, and on his back was Mickey Diamond and number 43, Jeff Ward 3X, David Bailey number 1, Doug Henry number 19, and I was just like, that was like one of the coolest things that happened. Like to me in the beginning, just seeing David Bailey wearing a shirt with my name on it, I thought that was pretty awesome. That was one of the highs, and then I mean, there were so many ups and downs on this trip. Man, that's a whole show in itself for sure. It was a brutal ride. It seemed like we all had like a little bit of issues here and there with whether cramping issues, body issues, bike issues, or something. So the race was pretty intense. Like you have 4 multi-time motocross champions nobody's going to give up. No matter how much pain you're in, I'm not going to be the one to give up. But it was so funny because at the end of the race, it was like, if everybody gave, if somebody decided that they didn't want to do it, or a couple people said they didn't want to do it, it's like, yeah, that's okay, we're out. We all would have backed out, like if the other guys were like, we're out, So it was pretty funny that we were all thinking the same thing. But
so I guess here's the bigger question: would you do it again?
No, I don't think so. No, there's a chance if it was like an 8-man. I don't know. I wouldn't say never because
now he's wavering.
A four-man team is very abusive.
Well, it's funny because Doug mentions it because my brother's an ultra marathoner. He's done several 200-mile running races, and I keep telling my brother I'd like to try the Ram race and put together a team. And he always references. He goes, Doug Henry did it. Those guys are nuts. He's like, I'm not doing that. I think we can do it with like an 8-man team. Let's do this.
Yeah. It makes it kind of being tired is no longer, like I don't, like being tired is not a thing like that. Like when we were in RAM, it was just like I would get, just the sleep deprivation that you'd be going through, trying to sleep, waking up, going out to ride, and it was just like your body didn't know what to do. And
yeah.
Oh man! So as far as being tired goes, I mean, I was so tired, and we had to get out and ride. It feel like you'd sleep for 1 minute, and it's like, okay, you guys, time to go. It's like, man, I just it was a rush, but it was really, really fun. It was great being a part of their team. Jeff, Mickey, and David, and just getting to know them a little bit more. And
whose idea was the race, Doug? Was that David's?
I believe it was on David's bucket list.
Okay.
And Mickey had done it. I don't know if it was a couple years prior to that.
Yeah, I saw that.
And yeah, so I think those two sort of their worlds collided at some point, and pretty soon,
let's call Doug.
David was calling me and asking me if I wanted to do it. I said, of course.
Like, yes.
I knew what it was. I was like, of course.
That's awesome.
So doing that, that's actually a pretty good segue. What do you got for future plans?
Let's see. Well, we got the National this weekend.
Yep.
And then I'm in the process of working with a welder out of Vermont. He's a pretty known welder in the bicycle industry. His name is Frank the Welder.
Yep.
And him and I are collaborating on a project to build they call them bucket bikes for mountain biking, two-wheel bikes with little e-motors on them. The ones we use it's a company called Paradox Kinetics.
Yep.
And it's a little motor that mounts up. It can mount to any bike.
Yeah.
But the bike that I'm building, it's going to be kind of tucked in there and kind of out of the way and everything. But it's got I think it's a 1500 watt motor, and it takes me, like, if I want to climb the mountain, I can climb the mountain. I can take the lift.
Yeah.
But usually I take the lift just because that's just the easiest way to go.
Right.
Just because
save yourself
all
some
your
battery
friends
life,
are
too.
going on the lift and stuff like that. But it's great for, like, kind of carrying your momentum a little bit down through the trails and stuff, and get you, like, to point A and point B when you're on top of the mountain or at the bottom of the mountain. But Frank and I have been kind of talking back and forth quite a bit about the design and trying to figure out exactly what we want to do. So I'm hoping by the end of July the bike is built and I can start riding that. And I'm also going to be working on the motocross bike to try and change the cage around a little bit. I was trying to get another bike from Yamaha, but I haven't been able to do that just yet. But I'm trying to I'd like to get a race bike so I can kind of work on that a little bit and kind of just practice on one bike, kind of back like the old days. You know?
Exactly. Have a practice bike and a race bike.
Yeah, so I got a mountain bike race in September in California.
Cool.
I'll probably do an adaptive motocross race at Cernix in Pennsylvania. I think it was like September or October last year. But Travis, it was like a Travis Pastrana challenge.
Yes.
And he ended up going out for that. Just kind of doing some riding and doing some engineering and designing and just kind of enjoying the two wheels.
Yeah, hey.
As much as I can.
Absolutely. And I know. Speaking of the Travis Pastrana Challenge, I know Dave has something that he's dying to ask you.
I just ran into Travis at the Nitro Circus a few weeks ago, and I meant to ask Travis because I had ended up with some time with him, but I totally forgot. But that trip you made down to his house, and he talked you into doing the backflip when he duct taped you to your bike. I mean, whose idea was that? I mean,
well, I had heard that there was a rule that when you go down to Travis's house, you got to do a backflip, and I don't think he was going to hold me to it at all. But it was something that I thought, it was kind of like a challenge because he was like, I don't think you can do it because he tried to do it like sitting in the center of the seat and trying to do a backflip just without standing and using his legs, and he couldn't do it. He was struggling quite a bit. And he's like, I don't know if you're going to be able to do it. To me, it was like, I feel like I can loop out like on the ground, like the flat ground. So here's a ramp that's going like straight up in the air. It's like, to me, it just seems like, it seemed easy,
Yeah.
But I had to try it for myself to see.
Yeah.
And the first time I made it pretty much almost all the way around. The next time I learned a little bit and went a little bit better and made it all the way around. So I did a backflip, and I don't need to do anymore.
It was cool. It was cool video to watch.
It's just this thing in my mind. I just hear like, where's the adult supervision? This is a bad thing going on now. Somebody should tell us this is bad.
They are the adults.
I know. It's the scary part.
All right. So before we let you go, anybody you want to thank?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Mike Treadwell has a quick question here. He wants to know if Doug is still on for the D-Nations this year. He says, I'm still hurting from last year at Redbud. sounds like Tread's looking for a partner in crime.
Treadwell?
I forgot we did make some sort of pact when we were at the Nations. Yeah, I think we were probably had a couple too many drinks at that point, but I think we did say that we were going to wherever the Donations is this year. Where is it this year?
Holland.
He probably knows.
It's in
Holland. Yeah, it's over the pond.
You boys better polish up those passports.
Yeah, tell him I'm in. When is it?
He's in.
Put it on my calendar.
Tread, he's in.
We'll see Tread. I'm sure we're going to see Tread this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, like everybody that, I have a whole support group of sponsors that have been sponsoring me for quite a while. I think Kenda, when they approached me and they wanted me to be a brand ambassador, I think that gave me a little bit of a push to, get into it a little bit more and I was kind of half in it. I was working on a brewery here, like a farm brewery, and things kind of just sort of fell through with that. And I decided that I would just want to kind of get back into riding, just as or just enjoying the riding thing. And just as I was doing that, Kenda had approached me and it's like, all right, let's do this. So I think without them, I don't know how much racing I'd be doing, around the country right now. But yeah, I mean they've been huge, and my Monster and Yamaha. And, gosh, I mean, there's so many.
That's okay. No problem.
GoPro just gave me some cameras, so I'm really looking forward to some footage. A friend of mine, and he's putting together some video stuff.
That's cool.
He said he's going to try to get it out for the national, or before the national. We'll see.
Nice.
And I don't know. There's just, to me, I think it's more the people that put on the race. I know Keith and his dad and Vic and Gene. I think I'm not sure. Whose idea to do the vet championship was, but I think it's a great idea. I think it's going to grow, and just the community, involved in racing in New England.
Sure do.
To me, it was just like I had such a great experience with racing that, and a lot of it was an NESC. So I really enjoy, kind of going back to NESC. I always did. When I was racing the nationals, I'd come home and try and race, NESC race when I could.
Oh, I remember. You'd come in and kick my butt.
Yeah, actually, one of my best memories I have of Doug was when I started in EMX, when he came to the second event we had at Southwick. And
Nice.
and it's funny, Doug, you probably don't remember, but I remember you coming up and try to comp your entries for you, and you're adamant to pay. And it was kind of funny. I remember, I think Tread was there as well, and Tread says, we're just going to give it all back to Doug anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But the coolest memory I had from that first day, I don't know if you remember it or not, but I'm going to share the story
Go
of
ahead,
him
yeah.
taking this crazy line. I remember the old finish line at Southwick, you coming down that straightaway, almost probably a lap ahead of everybody else, and you had this sick outside line, and you were hitting this kicker right as you were coming down towards where the gate still loads, but the downhill, and you were jumping like 4 whoops into a massive quad, and nobody else was doing it. And I heard, I think you told me that he crashed over that same jump right into the woods years before.
Yeah, probably.
So I should say jump, but it's not even a jump.
It's a bump.
It's just a bump. But I mean, it was amazing. I mean, you were 10 feet in the air, traveling, 60 feet down the hill, and you avoided every braking bump and all 4 whoops. And I'm like, that's humanly impossible. I'm like, but yet he's doing it. And I'm like,
Yeah. But it was, also just the crew that I had. There's a couple guys. Dave Green, he kind of went up there early, and I had my daughter's. My daughter had like a little get together. Her birthday was. Oh, it's today. It was yesterday. Oh no, I missed it. I didn't call her. Anyways, I'll call her after this.
Yeah, call her after
she'll
this.
understand. I did that for Ram too. I did it last year too. Oh boy. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, and then my buddy John May, he helps me out quite a bit with all the bike builds and stuff like that, and he came up and did some racing too. So we had a good time. We had a great time.
Very cool, very cool. And I know that you're active on Instagram. You're on Facebook, but you don't post too much. Most of your stuff is on Instagram. So if anybody that's watching wants to follow you when they don't already, what's your? I'll let you tell them what your Instagram handle is.
It's Doug19Henry.
All right, there you go.
and I did Google that. That actually comes up for his Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All of it's all linked to the same account.
We may have some questions from some of the people watching in the comments that we didn't get to. So it's all right now on Northeast MX, the Facebook page. So if anybody has questions, I'll have Doug. You can check it out. We'll try to answer everything that we can. And
your brother says, "Hey, brewery?" ? He says, "I know a lot about beer." So,
yeah,
Hank wants to know about beer.
Doug, we both know Hank knows a lot about beer from the old days.
Oh, you had him a beer, see?
But anyway, we truly appreciate you coming on and being the week before our local national. And
yeah, perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect timing. It's going to be a great weekend. We look forward to seeing you out there. I mean, I know that we had some moments this weekend when we got to race each other for the first time in 3 decades. But yeah,
so cool.
It's going to be I think it's going to be a blast.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll see you guys this weekend then.
We will see you guys. Yes, we'll see you this weekend.
All right, talk to you soon.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks for the call.
Have a great night.
All right, have a good one.
All right, bye.
All right, guys. So, if anyone that doesn't know, the great Doug Henry. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
we could have gone on for another 2 hours. I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
So,
it's very easy with Doug and
it is,
and his
it
ties
is.
to New England to there's so many stories.
Yeah, just a normal dude, good guy. I mean, we
Yep.
all have good memories of Doug. And if you've ever raced in New England, you've bumped
You
into one
bumped
point or
into
another.
Doug, yep.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yep. So.
All right.
But good show. Once again, apologize, guys, for the technical difficulties. Beyond our control, but we got some stuff in the works to actually make the set a little bit better. And I think Switcher Studio is on to me ditching them soon. So, but,
That does happen.
It does. So a little longer show tonight. We're 56 minutes in, so we kind of anticipated that anyway with the guest tonight. So
I know we got a couple weeks we got coming up that we're going to be doing a little bit different format too because you're in California.
Yes, I will be in California in July, so we'll be doing some remote feeds as well, and we'll go from there. So a lot of good comments popping in. Dave O'Neill, so cool. Vic O'Brien, nice job, guys.
Thanks,
Will
Vic.
Hawkins just logged in. Thanks, guys. All kinds of people. Yeah, we thank you guys. If it wasn't for you guys tuning in, wanting to watch, we wouldn't do this.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
you guys make it fun.
You like listening to a couple old guys.